Good evening. Do I have to do that again for it to switch to me?
No, you're fine.
It's not showing me. Do we have speaker view on?
We do.
Okay, I guess I just need to be louder. Wow, I'm gonna have to cut a lot. All right. Good evening and welcome to Story Hour. I'm tonight's host, Laura Blackwell. My marvelous co-host, Marvelous Daniel Marcus, not technically a wrestling name, started Story Hour to help people stay connected. And it's done such a great job on that. For the past 2 years, we've had, close to 200 writers, well over 100. And tonight we actually have two we haven't had on before, which is super exciting, especially because they are totally our kind of people. So tonight I'd like you all to welcome Ellen Meny and Martin Cahill for the first time. And as is our format, we asked them about some favorite nonprofits that we could mention tonight. So if you are feeling in a giving mood and have that ability, please go ahead and consider these. Tonight's featured nonprofits are American Tinnitus Association and World Builders. Ellen Meny is reading for American Tinnitus Association. Tinnitus is the perception of sound when none is present. I would like to also mention as a personal note that it really sucks. Roughly 5 million people struggle with burdensome chronic tinnitus, while 2 million actually find it debilitating. The ATA is a nonprofit that empowers tinnitus patients, healthcare providers, and researchers. The ATA invests in a quiet future for tinnitus patients. It provides better access to information, education, and resources on the condition, while funding advanced research for improved treatments and cures. You can learn more at ata.org, which is also a very interesting and informative site, I've got to say. And Martin Cahill is reading for World Builders. World Builders works to unite the geek community into a massive force to fund education, opportunity, and sustainable self-sufficiency for families and communities worldwide. World Builders uses the collective power of readers, writers, gamers, and geeks of all creeds to champion smart charities. By partnering with established nonprofits with decades of proven success, World Builders make the world a better place, one family at a time. You can learn more at worldbuilders.org. If you are here on Zoom, feel free to leave your camera on. It can be nice for our readers to see you. And chime in on the text chat on the Zoom right off on the right here, if you like. If you're joining us on Facebook, thank you so much, but please understand that we're not seeing your messages right away, which also means you better behave. And our first reader tonight is Ellen Meny. Ellen Meny loves writing messy, monstrous, maladapted women. She began her illustrious career writing Pokemon fan fiction in middle school and hasn't graduated much past that. I think we'll be the judge of that, Ellen. She has worked in fireside fiction, Three Crows magazine, and the short anthology 5 Minutes at Hotel Storm Cove. Head to her website at Ellen Meny, that's ELLENMENY, to see more of her work. Ellen, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. This is fantastic. I will kick it off if that's okay.
We are delighted to have you.
Excellent.
All we need is some content warnings and a story.
Absolutely. So I'm going to be reading my story, My Skin Sings, which is in Three Crows magazine, and it's free to read. Content warnings include references to abuse, physical and emotional. Also, there is violence involved, as well as death and a little bit of, I would say, like violence and gore. So I'll give you a moment to kind of take that in, and I will begin reading. So again, this is My Skin Sings, and it's in Three Crows magazine. My husband, Thomas, is very sick. His retching echoes through every room in our stone cottage, a humble place with splintered wooden floors and paint chipping on the window shutters, far too small for a family of 4. I'm in our tiny kitchen when I hear the first strains of his agony. My hands are plunged in hot dishwater, my fingers squeezing a sponge so hard I briefly think it might disintegrate in my grip. The water is my only comfort, soft on my wrists, as if to say, all will be well, daughter. We'll see about that. Mary, he howls, voice muffled by the bathroom door. His voice is plaintive rather than angry, which lessens the frantic pounding in my chest. Mary, that's not my name, although it might as well be after 15 years of marriage. It's the name he gave me after he couldn't pronounce my real name, although most humans can't. My name is meant for selkie mouths to pass through sharp teeth and lay at the bottom of the sea. It is unspeakable on land, unknowable to human tongues like his. I linger for a moment, my hands in the water, waiting for his groans to cease. I wonder if it's the last croak before death. But as his voice comes again, my stomach sinks. I abandon the refuge of the dishwater and pause before the bathroom door. My hand stills on the doorknob, pale fingers shaking, nails bitten down to the quick. My heart is a frantic bird beating itself against my chest. It's not his anger that frightens me. It's the knowledge that if this doesn't happen, I don't know what I'll do. When I open the door, my husband is huddled against the toilet, vomit dribbling down his chin. His hawkish face is white as paper, the shadows under his wild eyes an ugly, bruised yellow. Dread curdles my stomach. Water, he croaks, and hugs my skin around his shoulders tighter. My seal skin, the skin I was born in far below the waves, is grimy from years of constant wear, the gray, slick surface ripped and stitched into a makeshift coat that Thomas never takes off. During the day, he wears it to shield himself from the rain when he's out fishing, flashing it at the other fishermen like a peafowl's feathers. They grunt with admiration. It's a rarity to have such a fine skin, to have such an obedient selkie wife, because without their seal skin, no selkie can return to the sea. At night, Thomas curls itself around him like a blanket. Sometimes in the dark, inches away from him in our bed, I reach out and stroke the smooth, dappled gray of my skin. It's only when I'm absolutely certain he's asleep because of the occasional dull throb at my wrist from the one time he caught me doing it before. I hurry back to the kitchen, Cian and Clara watching me with wide eyes from the table. Looking at Clara, my oldest, is like looking into a mirror and seeing my past. Cian, my youngest, is a sweet little thing with my husband's dark gaze and the fattest legs I've ever seen. Sometimes I'll pretend to nibble on them and he shrieks with laughter, her teeth just beginning to sharpen, the rosy skin of her arms just beginning to sallow to a dove gray. Most selkie are born under the waves, furred and dappled gray. But for the few selkie who stray, the stubborn few who chance love with humans and shed their skin to do so, their children are born human. My daughter's seal skin will grow over them in time until it sits around their shoulders like a cloak. And then when their skin is their own, my daughters will be able to slip into their true forms and return to the sea. I'm breathless for that day, aching for it, wishing I could peel back their seal skin to make it come faster. But I know that would be cruel. I've heard of human fathers doing it to their selkie daughters, eager for them to marry. It rarely turns out well. Is Dad all right? Clara asks. My hands tremble as I fill a glass from the tap. He's fine, my seashell. The food didn't quite agree with him. I want to go back to the dock soon, she says, clearly not that concerned. Dread brews in my stomach as I remember she's just as stubborn as I am. Maybe if Da is feeling better tomorrow, I respond. But I want to see your friend, she whines. I like her better than when I whip around to face her, her mouth clams shut. Enough, I say. I nod to the dirty dishes on the table, plates and bowls I forgot to wash. I usually whisk them away right after dinner as Thomas instructs, but the anxiety pounding under my skin tore them from my mind. Dishes in the sink and then put your sister to bed. My back itches, Clara sniffs and then nods at her sister. Scenes does too. She was fussing. I leave them a tub of lotion as I go and my heart aches for my mother, who I haven't seen since I was pregnant with Clara. She's never lived above the waves, but even so, I imagine she would know what to do about itchy backs and my colicky daughter with her sharp teeth, and if I should ever apologize to my children for bringing them into this world and never doing enough for them. When I return to the bathroom, Thomas is sitting back against the wall, wiping his wet mouth. The sharp tang of vomit fills the space, and I have to hold back a grimace as I hand him the water. He drinks greedily. I remember how much I loved that hunger when I first met him, his lips devouring every inch of my body, his tongue running over my skin, my human skin, until it felt like the sea was pulling me under. 15 years has changed us both, though. That's the trick of love. It has a way of twisting in on itself, of growing teeth and claws so slowly, it's hard to notice that subtle shift. And by the time I did, I had already shed my skin and molded myself into the wife Thomas wanted me to be. But to my husband, I realized over the years, doesn't want a wife. He wants a mother he can fuck. Thank you. Thomas wipes his mouth with the sleeve of my skin. Must have been the bad meat. I say nothing. He doesn't seem to care. Claire is getting older, isn't she? It's strange she asks about our daughter as he leans back, pale as death, voice hoarse from retching. Maybe he's delirious. I want to frown confused, but he would take that as a slight. He would assume my frown was an offense directed at him, and that would result in shouting and crying and bruises. She's 12 next month, I say, and even now I feel a smile in my voice. Willful Clara. I've seen her sealskin coming off, he says. I have a few interested friends who'd make good husbands for her, you know? I stare at him. A visceral fear shoots through me like lightning, and I think I might vomit. Oh, that's the only sound I can manage, a soft rush that hopefully betrays none of the screaming horror climbing up my throat. Part of me had believed it would never come to this, that he would never do such a thing, but that innocent part of me is quickly and quietly being smothered with each passing day. Oh, best find her a husband before she grows into her skin, he says. Don't want her getting too willful. I swallow. Willful? Like you were, always running back to the sea. He pauses, glass trembling in his hand. Always making eyes at everyone, human, selkie, it doesn't matter. Now as he drinks, he watches me with a bloodshot mix of lust and reproach, as if he resents me, hates what I am, blames me for his sickness, and he well should, because I'm the one who poisoned him. Selkies make excellent wives, they say. They will never stray, not if you know how to hide their skins. My mother told me stories about it even before I came to Thomas on the beach one windswept morning, my skin still shifting as I emerged from the water. My kind has commingled with his for hundreds of years. They skim the ocean with sleek wooden boats to catch our fish, and we occasionally emerge from the foam, our true skins cast off to live among them. I had watched Thomas for several months before I decided to come to him. I would break from the waves to peer up as he hauled nets of fish, and he would grin at me, radiant in the first watercolor of dawn. It was his strength that was my undoing, I think. I assumed a man that strong couldn't be threatened by something unfamiliar, something he could and would never understand. I assumed someone like him would value the strength and freedom and existing between two worlds. He wasn't always a monster. The first few years, he used to love watching me change, slipping in and out of my two forms like slipping out of a silk dress, my sealskin around my naked shoulders, from a slick snout to a coy, blushing face. He would run his fingers over my skin, capture my mouth in his, and I would drink in his reverence like a drug. After I made his cottage my home, I returned to the sea every month to see my kin. I had found him, I boasted to my friends, a human lover who granted me freedom, who I could be my both selves with. He appreciated my strangeness, my ability to change at will. Every time I returned to the sea, wet and naked and holding my sealskin around me, he would be waiting on the bench with an embrace and kisses and eager questions. But over time, I noticed his eyes getting a little sharper, questions a little harsher, watching the selkies that splashed from the waves, asking if I wanted to stay with them, asking if I desired any of them. Until when, pregnant with Clara, I made my monthly visit under the sea. And when I returned to him on the beach, he took my sealskin from my shoulders and fashioned a coat from it and never took it off again. Love has a way of growing teeth. Despite the pallor of his skin and the heaving wet breaths he makes as he rises from the toilet, Thomas insists he can work in the morning, an important fishing trip apparently that he cannot miss. And while I offer him the appropriate amount of concern and doubt, it's only when he leaves at the first light of dawn that the screaming blood in my ears quiets. Once he's gone, I bind Scene to my chest with a blanket and start for the docks with Clara. Our home is nestled in a greened parcel of land, soft with clover underfoot, blanketed by birch trees that rustle in the wind. We're far, far away from the ocean, which is exactly what Thomas likes. At the docks, the sky brightens above seal gray water. I crane my neck, catching a glimpse of a proud, dark fishing boat at the very end of the dock. She's there again, hauling rope on the largest ship in the port, her tawny shoulders dappled with water and shining in the light. What little sunlight there warms her like an old friend. Eva is best like this, I think, painted against the sky like a saint. When she looks at me, her smile is kind but reserved, and mine is the same. It's the way it has to be in public, amid so many large men who know Thomas. They watch me with curious and lustful eyes that betray what they think. Aoife jumps down from the boat. She's tall and hard from years of work on the docks, forearms smooth with downy hair like a newborn chick. Despite this, her face is kind, even though she knows what I am and how I long to return to my kin. Her face is always kind, a lighthouse on the horizon, a respite amid rough shores. It's what drew me into her in the first place, what turned our innocent conversations into stolen touches and heated drags of the tongue. A selkie without her skin may not be able to return to the sea, but she can find plenty of other ways to stray. Well, hello there. Aoife leans down to tap Clara on the nose, which elicits a giggle from her. She would be a good mother, a great mother. Would you like to learn a song? Clara nods, her skin just beginning to fray at the edges of her arm. Aoife straightens, smiling. Why don't you all come aboard for a few minutes? She hums a tune as we follow her up the gangplank to the boat. When my foot catches on the lip of the vessel, she takes my hand to steady me, her sun-warm hand calloused by the sea. It doesn't stay in my own long enough to cause suspicion, but her touch still soothes me. The sea is radiant in the blooming light, the crests of the waves glinting in the sun. As Clara, holding scene, clambers over barrels and rows over great canvas ropes, I'm not worried, she's an excellent swimmer. I wander off and sit at the lip of the boat to trail my fingers in the cool water. The feeling is like mist during a years-long drought. Hope, but never quite enough. I hear Aoife's footsteps, steady boots on creaking planks. She sits beside me, leaning back against the wall that hides us from the rest of the boat. The spray of freckles across the bridge of her nose invites me to take her face in my hands, and then I feel her full lips against my own, tongues snaking against each other, warmth growing in my belly like fire. I lose myself in her kiss, pulled under her waves into a darkness I welcome every time. Love may be a cheap lie, but I continue to buy it eagerly. That thought wakes me, makes me remember my husband's fish belly skin, the sallowness under his hateful eyes. I pull away, my voice almost a whisper. It wasn't enough. Her eyes widen. They said one dose could practically kill 2 men. He's big and tough as an ass. Even though her fingers are laced in mine, I can feel us slipping away from each other, the walls closing in. My breath goes shallow at the thought of it. And now he's talking about marrying off Clara. I can't let that happen. It won't. The rough pad of Aoife's thumb traces my cheekbone. Does he drink? Wine makes men stupid and sleep happy. If the poison didn't kill him, I doubt wine would. No, she says. Feed him wine and meat and cheese, make him so drunk a storm wouldn't wake him, and then slip away with the children. I'll meet you outside the house tonight. Tonight? The word is a boon, a glimpse of sun on the horizon. Aoife's voice is kind but firm. It has to be. You're running out of time. The flutter of hope in my chest quickly dampens as I spring back to reality. Seen as a colicky babe who screams at the slightest disturbance, and I severely doubt Clara would keep such a secret if I warned her of it. She likes to play girlish games at the dinner table, cutting me a sly gaze as she tells Thomas how much we enjoy visiting the docks. I thought I was good at hiding my roaming eyes, my ravenous hands, but Clara is like me, too curious for her own good. I want to curl up against Aoife and beg her to save me, but my pride is all that I have left. Instead, I tighten my jaw. Tonight, I am nothing if not stubborn. Thomas returns home that evening, his face still drawn, a spot of dried vomit flecked on the side of his mouth. Each time I come from the docks, I keep a close eye on him for a few hours. I'm discreet, but he has too many friends who haul nets and gut fish for a living, lurking around the docks with the smell of blood about them. As we clean dishes from the dinner table, Clara offers me a secretive smile. For a splintering moment, I wonder if she heard Aoife's promise to wait for us at the door tonight. I'm trying to put it out of my mind. I doubt it would work. Even so, I still offer Thomas a generous pour of wine and a full plate of beef stew for dinner. He doesn't touch it, muttering about exhaustion and long days as he disappears into our bedroom for the night. I slip into the darkness a few hours later, slithering under the blankets to curl up in a tight ball on one side of the bed. Although I'm pretending now, I've always slept like this. All Selkie do when we take our human forms, like an infant without the womb. It's pitch black when I hear his voice. Do you love me? My body tenses at the question, at his sudden wakefulness. He's never asked me that before, never in 15 years, not even when he took his skin from me. I did love you, I want to say, because that would be telling the truth. I did love him for longer than he deserved, even after I found myself loving a monster. Of course, dear, I whisper. My lie lays heavy in the darkness, and his silence makes fear pool in my stomach, makes me consider how quickly I could enact my plan to escape. Aoife could be waiting outside at this very moment, but the children are still in their beds and it would take too much time to rouse them enough to flee. And while my husband is still ill from the poison, still slower than normal, I could see the ropey muscle of his arms in the faint moonlight. I loved you, he says. It's so quiet, I have to strain to hear his voice, almost plaintive in the silence. My blood roars in my ears, spine tingling. Even though I don't understand what you are, I loved you. He doesn't move as he speaks, his body like a stone in the bed. Even though I knew I would never be enough for you, I loved you. My tongue is suddenly thick in my mouth, the weight of his words sinking into me. He loved me. You're enough for me, my love. I push as much sincerity into the words as I can. And it was true at one point, even if it isn't now, even if my husband's own jealousy made his fear reality. If that's true, he says, then why are you fucking that sailor out on the docks? My mind only has time enough to go blank, my spine ice cold, when Thomas turns over in the bed to press a heavy hand over my mouth. He pins me to the bed before I can move, my eyes bulging as he wraps the other hand around my throat, fingers digging into the soft flesh of my pulse. He is so much stronger than I am, too strong for me to fight in this form. My breath rattles. My children, I think, as my mind flutters, this will be their mother's legacy, her skin and her life stolen. This will be what Clara remembers of me. Clara, who will make an equally trapped wife, who will be just as foolhardy as her mother. And then just as my vision begins to blacken, I realize that can't happen. My husband's knee presses into my stomach, the other on my right thigh, but he's neglected my left leg. I jerk up, driving my knee into his groin. He chokes, crumbling into himself. My throat is on fire, but I throw myself from the bed, wheezing as I stumble from the bedroom and into the hallway. Clara is already awake, standing wide-eyed in her doorway as she takes in my bruised neck, the panic etched in my face. Outside now! I grab Clara's wrist and yank her towards the staircase, a whimpering cry bubbling from her throat as she stumbles. She looks back at me just before she disappears down the steps, but I'm already ducking into Scene's room. There's no time for gentle platitudes. Scene squalls in her crib, tiny fists pumping in the air, sharp teeth shining in the sliver of moonlight from her bedroom window. I lunge for her, arms out in wild desperation, when something yanks on my hair. My head snaps back like a whip, body following as I crash into a corner. I feel my forehead crack against the wall, and then I'm stumbling up through blood and blur, watching as Thomas looms over me like a shadow. My skin hangs around his shoulders like a corpse. Before I can wrench myself up, he's over me again, digging his thumbs into the meat of my throat. Searing pain lunges down my neck, and just before my vision spots black, I see the bedroom door slam open. Aoife rears up behind Thomas, forearms taut as she pulls a rope around his neck. She yanks him back, rope digging into his throat, his face a violent red and eyes bulging in animal terror. Her grip strains against his brute strength, and as his arms wheel, my eyes lock onto the flapping sleeve of his coat, my skin. I pounce at him, Aoife shouting in surprise as I begin to tear at my skin, wrestling the fabric from his flailing arms. He roars when part of it rips from his shoulder, a sickeningly wet sound that makes a moan push up my throat. My skin, that's my skin he's tearing apart. It's mine, I howl suddenly, wildly, releasing my grip on the half-shorn coat to claw at his eyes with my bitten nails. Give it back, give it back. Arms now free from my grip, he grabs the rope around his throat and yanks it away. The motion pushes me backwards as I make one last grab at the hanging skin, just as he wheels around to hit Aoife in the face. She falls backward with a cry of pain, shock red blood and broken teeth spilling from the hand clasped to her mouth. Thomas turns back to me, ready to pounce again, but stops when he sees what I'm tugging over my arms. My skin is torn and dirty and ragged, but the moment it touches my body, it clings to me like a child reunited with its mother. I hug my skin around myself tighter, tighter, tighter until I can feel my legs slip away, my arms flatten and smooth, my whiskers bloom from my face. And then as I feel my belly against the floor, I know that I am complete for the first time in 15 years. Thomas's eyes are wide in his face, as if just now realizing what I am. And that is the last look he will ever make, because I lunge forward, jaws wide, and tear out his throat. My sharp teeth sink into his flesh and he collapses backwards. A horrible, wet, hissing noise comes from the hole in his neck. His blood is hot iron in my mouth. It is 15 years of rage coating my fangs as I plunge into him again and again and again. There will never be enough blood to steal back everything he has whipped from me, but the last wheezing cry he makes before his seizing body stills is still savage ecstasy. I force myself to separate and return to my human form, naked, wet, huddled under a gray, slick skin. Aoife is immediately next to me, wiping the blood from my bruised mouth to cup my face in her hands. He's gone, she whispers over and over again like a prayer. He's gone, he's gone, he's gone. His body lays slack next to us, blood pooling on the splintered wooden floor. He is gone. And for the first time in years, I am myself again. Aoife knows I can't stay. She's known this since we first met. I could stay, I suppose, but I don't want to. I could find a home near the docks, raise my children half on earth, half in sea, but my false skin prickles at the thought of it. I've had enough of this strange world, and although I will visit Aoife on her boat, I can't promise my life to her, not after it ended so poorly with another. After we hide Thomas's body, my daughters and I return to her boat. Just as the sun begins to rise, I dip my toes into the sea, legs swinging like a schoolgirl's. Clara sits next to me, frowning at the lapping water. Scene is already splashing around, barking with delight, but Clara still doesn't understand what I'm trying to explain to her. She frowns at her skin, draped over her shoulders like a cloak. Your skin is your own, I tell her, tracing a finger down the fraying edge of gray on her shoulder. Wrap yourself in it. But I've already got my skin on, she says, holding out an arm. Like this. As if no time has passed, I slip into my skin and fall into the water, letting my warm pelt envelop me as the sea kisses my face. When I breach the surface with a snuffing nose, Clara stares at me, as if I'm not her mother, as if I'm something unknowable. And I realize I am, for the first time in her life. And I realize I am. For all of her life, she's known me as something small and pale and sad. And that's all she knows herself as, too. It's time, my love, I say, although my language is of the sea now. Her ears may not recognize the words, but her soul does. And it only takes a moment's hesitation before she wraps herself in her skin and plunges into the water. It's dawn as I turn to face the endless horizon, the sea like glass for eons. My daughters whip and jump around me, wild with freedom, drunk on the sleek power of their new forms, hungry for whatever lies below the depths. I'm hungry too, I realize, for whatever awaits us. And as I dive into the dark embrace of the sea, two young seals trailing behind me, my skin begins to sing. Thank you very much.
Ooh, that was great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. We like to take a breath between the stories.
I'll take a drink.
Drinks are also good. I have a drink. Water. Ordinary water, not salt. That was wonderful. And yet, I think it sets us up very well for another wonderful story. So next, we have Martin Cahill. Martin Cahill, I should have asked, am I saying your name correctly?
You are certainly saying my name correctly, yes.
Oh, good. I am so glad I stumbled into that.
No
Martin
worries.
Cahill is a science fiction and fantasy writer living in New York City and works as the marketing and publicity manager for Erewhon Books. Is Erewhon pronounced like that?
Mhm.
Okay. Obviously, I didn't do all my research this time, sorry.
You're nailing it. You're doing great. I promise.
He's a graduate of the Clarion Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Workshop of 2014 and a member of the NYC-based writing group Altered Fluid. You can find his fiction in Lightspeed Magazine, Nightmare Magazine, Shimmer Magazine, Fireside Magazine, Beneath Ceaseless Skies, and now Clark's World. His short story, Godmeat, appeared in the Best American Science Fiction and Fantasy 2019 anthology, and he was part of the writing team for Realm's Batman, The Blind Cut. Martin also writes and has written book reviews and essays for Tor.com, Book Riot, Strange Horizons, and the Barnes & Noble Science Fiction and Fantasy blog. Martin, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Laura. It's really wonderful to be here. Thank you to you and Daniel, and Ellen, thank you for that wonderful story. That was literally killer and very, very beautiful at the end. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. I'm going to be reading a story for you tonight, and whenever you happen to listen to this, it came out actually almost a year ago to the day, which is very exciting. Up front, some content warnings. You will have references to emotional and physical abuse. You will have some hallucinogenic descriptions. You will have some light violence. You will have the threat of violence, but nothing more. We now, if it's okay to begin, as a reference point, this story, as I was practicing it, came in just shy over the allotted time. So I will do my best to move us along at some points and smooth out some transitions so we get you all out of here at a decent hour. Again, for whenever you listen to this. So sit back, relax, feel the humidity of a jungle around you, feel a deep dread in the bottom of your stomach, hear the noise of insects buzzing around you as I bring you into a story that is titled Those Virtues, Those Poisons. It is online for free at Beneath Ceaseless Skies. And now we begin. Facing the Titan serpent is not as terrifying as watching it bite you first. There is a reason the stories name it Olomage, the poisoned god. Its scales glitter like rainbow-hued daggers in the harsh morning as one of the heads strikes. The enormous jaw thunders around your torso and back, delivering the legendary paralytic of the left head directly into your spine and belly. You are stronger than I am. Your eyes never leave mine. I don't want to watch, but I do as your pupils dilate, your breathing shallows. Even the sweat on your upper lip stills as your limbs go slack. It doesn't take long before you crumple to the ground before the massive cave, your breath quick and light, gaze lost amongst the dense jungle canopy. The right head of the serpent swerves into view, its eyes mesmerizing me, dragonfly bright and narrow as a blade. It's attempting to lure me into calm as it would any other prey. But it doesn't work. The nearby waterfall roars in my ears. Sweet mothers, I want to run. I take a step backward on instinct, only to find a presence there, halting my cowardice. The deep voice of the serpent guardian who walked with us from home rumbles to life behind me. Remember your oaths, he says. Stand firm. You are a vessel for Olomage. Run? Flee? Not only will you be cast out of Kotomara, but your twin will die where he now lies. You would let your fear taint his soul? It will be bad enough that he shares your coward's face for eternity, but to do such a thing would deny him a life in the pools of Unra, his spirit forever apart from paradise, shame weighing him down like a twice-tied shroud. He's right. If I leave, you die and stay dead, forever outside holy reward. So I stand. I sweat, and I weep and I shake, but God's damn me, I stand. Let me do this one thing right. If I can do it for anyone, I can do it for you. Before me, the right head slowly opens its jaw, fangs extending. They catch the jungle's light like a hangman's axe before the inevitable fall. Is it jealousy I hear in the guardian's voice? Now you will know euphoria. The right head strikes, and I have no time to scream as its jaw that is the world darts forward, fangs piercing me, flooding my veins full of the hallucinogen it uses to dazzle prey into submission, the other legendary poison of the Titan serpent. Is there pain? Yes, so much pain. But it's too enormous to comprehend. I cannot contain it or hope to understand it. It is the scythe threshing corn, the stalks crying out together, why do we fall? It is the forceful moment a crocodile crunches a man whole, silencing all he ever was in a moment. If I make any sound, it is the stuttering, gasping cry a fish makes on dry land, saying, I do not belong here. I cannot breathe this world. Help. The hallucinogenic, it strikes faster than the serpent. My body quickly absorbing the poison, I see how my people in the early days of civilization beheld this creature as a god. In the throes of its strike, its toxin flooding my veins, the serpent's shape shines like an iridescent sun, my heart roaring within me like a red ocean. I want to submit to it as much as I wish to run. I imagine this is how faith is formed. Even in the face of scientific evidence, even after centuries of study, knowledge bows and breaks under the crushing weight of awe and might. I hear a thread of sound warped in my delirium. Turning, the guardian, he is dripping, his stoic figure melting and reforming, turned liquid by the god drug inside me. His voice tastes like corrupted honey. Take up your brother, he says. Hold him in your divine embrace, for you have become vessel both, holding the twin virtues and poisons that are the titan of Kotomara, pleasure and pain, euphoria and despair, one of you locked away in ice, and the other imprisoned in dreaming. Bring your brother home, so you may bring yourself home, so you may both bring our God home, for all the people of Kotomara to know them and partake of those virtues, those poisons. He stamps his spear on the ground once. Now go. Right. The guardian remains to soothe the serpent home. Distantly, I remember you. You are on the ground. I look at you, brother, and your limp form is a riot of colors. You shine like a cosmic bruise, and if I am afraid of touching you, it is only because in lifting you, I think I might hurt you, break you to stardust in my fingers of stone. But I do it. I pick you up and you are in my care, cradled against my numb body. But it was not supposed to be this way. You were to carry me, Rohi. That's why I rigged the ritual, replaced your token with mine. The voice of the city reveals which twin shall carry the other home each year, and I couldn't bear the weight. Knew I would fail if it were me. So I did what had to be done. Yet, here we are. My plans betrayed, and you, as intended, curled in my arms, dead eyes unblinking into the sky, aware, feeling every caress of wind and sun on you, and yet unable to say anything. We are where the God has put us. I am trembling. I am a coward. I am loathsome, small, unimportant. Yet what am I to do but what I am intended, even if I will fail as I know I will? I begin to walk us home. Time stretches thin as torn sugar, becoming wispy, almost non-existent in its breaking. I can't find the sun above us, but I know it is there. The sky has become blinding, as though someone has taken a hammer to the light, flattening it and marbling it like melted butter across clouds. Looking up does no good, and looking down is worse, because you are all I see, brother. You locked in your body. All you can do is look up into the molten sky. Your eyes are huge, your mouth just ajar, gasping breath as though it is precious. I can see your heartbeat through your skin. When I watch you for too long, my feet stop moving and I feel so crushed inside. I could cry until I die. How will I ever bring you home when I am weak, weaker than you? I am determined to look ahead then. And yet, the jungle that is our home is transformed by the holy poison burning within me. The trees, the jungle floor, the shadows all writhe like things alive. And though it is a path I have walked 1,000 times, it is no longer familiar, but something strange and haunting. My thoughts congeal, sticking to each other. Memory, sensation, thought, they bleed and they tumble into each other as my heart desperately works to flush the poison from me. And what makes you think that your heart is strong enough to outrun the Titan serpent's gift? On my right walks Father. Already I wilt from his harsh gaze. Dark eyes set in a dark face, sun-beaten brown skin, and strong, elder and statesmanlike in his royal purple. Even in my mind, he looks down on me. Nothing, I say. Even here, I can't see him as anything other than jaws and myself, meat. I am not worthy of the gift, and yet you were chosen to bear it. The disappointment in his voice is heavy. The god of the vast green has a sense of irony. And yet, he says, hand moving down to caress your brow, it would not be a divine challenge if the stronger of you were to bear the brunt of the bite. Please, Banya, let me carry Rohi home in peace. You ask for peace when all you've ever wanted is someone to wage war on you. You feed on the loathing that you ask of your betters. You never ask for help. You are addicted to self-hate. Your fuel will undo you, son, unless you find something better to burn. That or remain lost. Let the jungle swallow my sons, and let me have the mystery of your disappearance rather than the knowledge of your failure. At least then I can pretend you tried. Oh, how to ignore the storm that is his voice. I've never been good at keeping dry in the weather of his temper. Or worst, you retreat back to the guardian and admit failure. Let your brother die and you never return home. Dare you live up to the abysmal hope you have for yourself? Do I leave him behind? No, I simply pick up speed. I hear him walking behind me. As we move deeper into the jungle, at least within the poison's thrall, our father speaks to me. More than can be said of him outside the unreality of the bite. His voice fades as I wander further with you in my arms, the remnants of his derision lingering like smoke. Ah, the sun is gone. Slipped away when I wasn't looking. But the moon, she is a coin, shining silver and mad, bathing me in the dappled horror of night. In my delirious vision, she's a masked Rulisa dancer, her craterous face hewn with black opals, pockmarked in a rictus smile. I look away, panting. My fever hasn't broken. Won't break for some time. Staring at the mad moon won't help. I'm sweating at the onset of this frigid night. Even though my vision is a cursed thing, my body still feels. And maybe in that feeling there can be some trust of the world around me. I try. The night is damp and heavy. At my feet, suddenly, cold water. I ease your body to the edge of it, resting you on pebbles and gritty sand. Oh, by the twin-headed god, you are terrible to look upon, Rohi. I don't understand. I don't know. I know why you look so calm, but how can you look so calm when I'm going to let you down? In the water, Mother stares back, frown becoming smile, becoming frown as the water shapes her. I dread her smile. She only smiles when something bad is coming, as if joy could ease the sting of sorrow. Will you kill him here? Her reflection asks. Or will you pretend at success and let Rohi die for your own pride? I splash cold water on my face. I will not let him die. I say. Even I do not believe my words, and I've always been good at lying to myself. You won't on purpose, says Mother, voice liquid and sad. But you knew you would kill him if you were the one to carry. You knew you'd fail, so you tried to take the easy way out. Switch your chits. Pretend dismay, even as you are frozen and smug, knowing you had gotten out of proving yourself to the twin-headed god. Yes, of course I'd fail. That's why I had to switch it. If it was me, then you'd both die, she finishes. There's not a person in Kotamara who doesn't know your cowardice, Pano. I love you as a mother will always love her children, but I've never known you to be the braver son. Rohi, bless him, stood for you so you wouldn't have to, took your punishments and injuries so you could live unscathed, absorbed your peers' scorn, giving you only love. In his own way, he is to blame too. Don't blame him. He did nothing wrong. I dash her reflection with my hand. If he did nothing wrong, then why will you punish him by letting him die? Better to take that knife at your hip and end it for you both. The poison is already on its way to his heart, and it will be agony. You'd come home a coward, but at least people would see you would give the honorable death to your brother. At least they could say, Pano the coward could not endure the trial, but at least he gave his brother a dignified end. At least you would bring home the twin god psychotropic for our medicine, even if you couldn't bring home the paralytic and Rohi. That is, if you don't plunge that knife into your own chest after. If I dig into my temples hard enough, could my skull become clay? Could I tear myself in two and rearrange the part of me that is loathsome and make it heroic? Please stop, I moan loud enough to drown out the wall of sound that is the jungle. As you wish, Vono, my beloved son. I do love you. You know that, even though I am only your mind made manifest, child. The drug of the poison God makes the world what you want of it. If you wish to be brave, then be brave. But you will never make it home if you cannot rise above your own cowardice, if you cannot craft a better world or a better you. A dangerous thought occurs, and I grow very still. Did I switch my own chit back? Did I doom my brother? The stream takes mother's face away bit by bit, her voice lost in the rising burble. Does it matter? If you think yourself damned, you are damned. Her voice fades as the lunar lady continues to kick and twirl overhead. I see you on the edge of the stream, staring glassy-eyed and smiling as if she dances only for you. Before us, the jungle waits. Miles and miles more of danger. To stay here is to die. To move forward is not certain death, but near enough. Success has always been made of glass, a slim and fragile thing. Well, if there's a chance I'm a better man than I know that I am, that too will be slim and fragile. Come, brother. I bend over and pick you up. You weigh nothing, and for a moment in my delirium, I believe we will fly through canopy and cloud, drifting toward home. But after a moment, earthbound, I turn and head back into the jungle. Onward. We'll skip ahead a little bit. Pano continues to walk, still holding his brother Rohi. Rohi is not doing well. His veins are beginning to blacken with the poison. Pano is not doing well. His delirium is overtaking him, turning sour, and he is becoming lost and lost. And, oh, we are lost. We must be. Nothing looks the same. In every direction I taste doom. I'm scared, brother. I guess it's here I'll do what I know to best. Stumble, crash to a halt, fail. Yes, you hit the ground hard. I do too. Looking around, all I see are shadows. There is no glow of Kotamara, of home, no smell of earth or air, no sound beyond your breath, faster than before, as though you have realized how little air you have left. Is this what it's like to die under the serpent's trial? My mind having wandered so far into the world of dreams that I will become undone. It's what I deserve. I know. We are far from home. For all I know, we have wandered in a circle, around and around, the serpent tracking us with dripping jaws, the guardian waiting for us to die. The weight at my hip becomes heavy. An ominous sign, this, for my knife to take on a will of its own, reminding me it's there. And knives only have so many purposes that don't call for blood. I draw it. The knife is heavy. But what weapon is light? What blade is meant to be so easily forgotten? Violence should be heavy. To do such a thing should leave a mark. Is this knife so heavy a coward cannot lift it? No. It is heavy, but violence is never so heavy that no one can do it. Most are capable. And that I might do this one thing and become accustomed to it. I can't tell you which is more frightening, brother. The act, or that the act might become easier. again and again, because I think I'm going to kill you, brother. I think we are lost and there is no way out, and I'd rather be the one to do it than watch this God's poison squeeze your heart until it bursts. Would you forgive me? I don't think I'd forgive myself. But don't worry, Rohi, for I am a coward. And so in your death, I will run. I will run away. I will live on to grieve you. Ah, I'm holding the knife above you, Rohi. Gods, I hope I can do it in one strike. I don't know if I have the stomach to try again. Oh, Pano. Not how I imagine going, but if this is what has to happen. I look up, blinking away tears, for surely this is another trick. How can you be here, dying, pale and cold, and sitting in the roots of the tree before me, lounging almost, arm draped over your wooden throne, calm as a saint, your dark hair long and clean? You look at me with that smile to cut the night into pieces. Rohi, you're what, not here? Now, at this moment when your mind has blossomed open to the truth of the world? You conjured father in his stern ways. You brought forth mother from the water. How is it that bringing me from this darkness is the one impossible thing about all this? But you're just a piece of me, convincing myself it is someone else. You shrug and cross your legs with that smile I wish I could summon to my own face instead of all these ghosts. Well, then be done with it. Plunge it, straight and true. Come now, don't be shy. Weren't you just sketching up the horrible future you'd live after you murdered me? Please don't let me keep you from that fright tomorrow. It's not murder. It's an honorable death, better than poison. Oh, is that what mother told you? So interesting, Pano. All the easy ways you could take, as long as you get to suffer from them. Oh, what does that mean? I toss the knife aside, hearing a dull crack as it hits a stone and falls into the underbrush. You've challenged me, and oh, I'd rather beat your challenge than kill you. It'll feel more satisfying. You uncross your legs and lean forward, grinning. Every scenario you see, every future you glimpse, you take the easy way out. We are lost and we both die. You kill me and live with the consequences. You somehow return to the garden and we live in shame and exile. And yet not one single future has us getting home, surviving, living. And in every future, you don't need the help of a single person in Kotamara to do what you already do to yourself. You already grind yourself into the mud, brother. You lie down for folks to walk all over you. And not just that, you welcome it. You welcome it. You'd rather give them exactly what they think of you than to surprise them by standing up for yourself. It's hard to defend oneself from the truth, especially when spoken by someone who is loved and trusted. This here, you say, pointing at your frozen, drugged, and dying body, this is an opportunity, Pano. One I think you can rise to. One I think you're going to surprise everyone with. Oh, because I was going to kill you and never return. I'm loathsome, brother. I wish I wasn't, but it's the truth. I was going to kill you and run and just let Kodamara tell the tale of Pano the coward. A warm hand under my chin. You've approached and lifted my head, so I'm staring into your eyes. Yes, brother, but you didn't kill me just now. When it mattered most, you listened to me, the part that is inside you that knows you can succeed. In the voice of the brother that loves you, I say this: you are worthy, Pano. You are enough. When given the chance to give your all, you did so for the life of your brother, and here you are on the brink, and I say to you, you will succeed. If I've never believed it before, please forgive me. It's just that no one has ever said it. But I know that I am saying this to myself. And if I can believe it, maybe it's true that others believe it too. What is the harm in trying? What does it hurt to just once believe in myself? I put an arm under Rohi's legs, helping his knees relax. Do you know now? Did you figure it out? His voice is all-encompassing but quiet, as though we sit together in the eye of a storm. I get another arm under his head, supporting his neck like a child. The trick with the chits. Rohi's voice, that is my voice, that is his voice, is growing softer. shushing away like wind across long grass. With a shout, I rise. You are in my arms, and for a moment, as trapped as you are, I think I spy the slightest smile on your face. Your voice in my mind is as soothing and soft as medicine. I figured out your little gambit, brother. And when you weren't looking, I switched our chits back. I trusted you to see us home. I've always trusted you to rise again and again. And even if you'd be too scared to save yourself, you would never let me down, brother. And Pano, you haven't. Not ever, brother. One step, another. Time has lost all meaning. My heartbeat is slow, an occasional reminder that I'm alive. I cannot feel yours anymore, but I sense your breathing. My soul feels light, even as you grow heavier and heavier. It's almost time, isn't it? It must be. Even if time has stopped existing, we move in the way of glaciers and storms, inevitable things that will have their way for good or ill. I am many things: pain, exhaustion, fear. All of them mean nothing, knowing that you trusted me to see you home. These things that weigh me down fade before my duty to you. If I can do nothing else, I can do this. My vision narrows and I am thirsty. When I look down, I can barely see the life within you, Rohi. But ahead of us, something breaks the jungle dark. Golden motes of light, distant and unhurried. Faint wisps of sound that could be music or crying or the gentle trill of birdsong. The smell of metal and bread, clay and coin, the building blocks of life. Is it home? Or just those final images the brain makes as it dies, recreating the familiar as comfort? I couldn't tell you, Pano. I couldn't tell you, Rohi, not with my mind obliterated so. I don't know if you could tell me either. Both of our minds locked away in lands of ice and dreaming by the god poisons. But I walk us towards those sounds and smells with a smile on my face. I feel you in my arms, so close and tender, in a way we haven't been since we were born. Together, as then, we approach the lights and sounds of a distant, unknown world, wondering what we will find when we emerge. Let us go home, brother. That's it.
Thank you. That was gorgeous.
Thanks, everybody. That was so lovely. Sorry if I ran a bit over.
That was perfect. Daniel, I feel so fortunate to have had this night. These two writers reading these two stories together, it's just been an amazing experience.
Lovely,
So,
folks. Thank you so much.
yeah, so beautiful and intense. Thank you both. Ah,
Thank you.
Thank you. This has been lovely. Thank you so much.
it is truly our pleasure and our honor. And, you know, Daniel and I at least will be back again next week. We're going to have two different writers next week, though. We're going to have Willow Dawn Becker and Jenna Hanchy. And I recommend going to storyhour2020.com. You can learn a little bit about them, other writers who are going to be coming up soon. Check the calendar. And also, if you want to go to watch more story hours, the Story Hour page on Facebook is where you can watch any you may have missed, watch this one a few more times, whatever floats your boat. Ellen, Martin, thank you both so much for this wonderful evening. Thank you to my co-host, Daniel Marcus, without whom literally none of us would be here in this Zoom room. And all of you watching now, all of you watching sometime in the future, thank you for joining us at Story Hour. Good night.